There we go. We are live on YouTube. I've got Kies with me on Discord. Don't know where all the other people are. I see lots of you there on stream. Well, how many? Two guys. Two guys there. That's also Kies and Papina. Guys, sorry I'm late. I have a bit of an issue that I'm trying to resolve, but it seems that I can't do it without Mako. So I have to wait for him to discuss it any further so we can start our stream then, obviously. Okay. So the intention of this stream right now is to serve as training for using the VA. So I'm going to try and put as much information in here so that we can share it onto new users or potential new users and things like that. And so just bear with me. We're not going to fly outright immediately. There's just too much to cover. And if this thing goes over an hour, then I doubt I'm going to fly because then it becomes a bit tedious and long. So let's see what happens, how soon we can wrap it all up and make it work for us. And I'm going to reload the Zibo while we talk. So like I said, the purpose is training and it is to get everybody to understand the new VA website and to use it and to join if they are new and haven't joined. So here we go. Hey Papina, I see you online here with us. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Hello, everyone.
Good stuff, good stuff. All right. Okay, so the first logical place to start is obviously to go to the actual website. So I'm going to start with the basics. There's the website. I've just put that in the stream chat and I'll try and remember to put it in the description below the video as well. And that will bring you literally to this page. All right, I'm not logged in and I'm about to log in. So I can't log in until I'm registered. That's obviously the logical place to start. So any new user will have to go to register. Okay, so to register, there is a simple form that you have to fill in. You're going to select your home airport just for the record. It's neither here nor there, but it's nice to know. And then we've got certain terms and conditions, and you will not be able to register until you've actually accepted all of them. And one of the things that is absolutely crucial for almost everybody on earth right now is all these new privacy laws that are coming in. In Europe, it's the GDPR. For South Africa, it's the POPIA law, and I'm pretty sure there's similar things in the US. And basically, all you are doing is telling us that we are allowed, you're giving us permission to save your name, your surname, your email address, and the country that you are from. So that's about all we need. It doesn't get shared, it doesn't get sold, it's just for our own records. We do not have a email spamming facility, so nobody's going to bother you in your email, but it's just legislation. That's what it's all about. So you're going to have to fill in this form and then you register. All right, when you are done, you can go to the login page, and obviously you're going to use either the email or the pilot ID and the password. That is mine. It's up to you if you want to remember it, yay or nay. It's absolutely your choice, and you can log in. If you came to this page first, there's a backtrack link to go and create your account. If you've forgotten your password, you can use that. At this moment, however, this link does not work. We are investigating. We're waiting for the guys at the PHP VMS side to come back with an answer and tell us why this is not working. So if you need a password reset at this time, you're going to have to send me a PM. Tell me what you want. I will go and put it in the database so you can get in. I cannot see your old password, so I cannot give you your old password. You'll have to supply a new one. All right. The system is very cleverly written that I don't see your API, which we will talk about later. I cannot see that. I cannot retrieve it. I can do nothing with it. So you will always know that your account is private. I can also not see your password. It's just impossible. I can put a new one in on your behalf, but that's it. Okay. Um, So if we log in, it should take us now to the landing page. And hello, Lucian. Just noticed you there. Good day, good day. So this is the pilot dashboard that we have. This is going to be your landing page. This is what opens up when you log in. There will be certain NOTAMs that you need to take um, into account. You need to read them, make sure you understand what's happening. If there's anything important, it's going to be put here. All right. The same information will also be available right there in your ACARS client. We'll talk about that later again. But this is very important to know. All right. This is going to be your last report. It will show you at which airport you are at. And anytime it shows you the little hand, you should know by now. That's to tell you it's a link to somewhere, so you can actually go and look at the aircraft, the destination, the origin airport, or the actual flight. Okay. On this page, you can also see the guys that are currently flying. If you need a little bit more information, you basically click on the aircraft. It tells you a little story of and that's Christer. We were just talking, right? So there you go. It tells you a little story about the aircraft. There's a text list. These are the recent flights that have been completed, and because we are currently in LPMA, it knows that's where we were last. It will give us the weather information, so we can get a quick heads up if we want to fly from the same airport. If you want to fly from a different airport, it's very easy to put the details in and just click go, and there it shows you the information of that airport. So you can put anything in there. You can see the inbound flights and the outbound flights that are currently at each airport in the screen. And if you click on more weather info, you get a very nice graphical presentation of the weather and everything that is running there. It will tell you about the runways that are in use and all kinds of things, and obviously give you the METAR. So there's we'll get into this screen a little bit more in depth later on. So um, all right, I see there's a magnifying glass there. We don't care for that now. We're not gonna spend time on that right now. So let's go back. All right, if you would like to physically move, and currently it's not a really big deal. Currently, as the system is written, you can literally start the flight at any airport. You don't have to physically move you. But there are times and instances where you would like to actually change your current location, and all you have to do is take a jump seat. You just specify the airport you want to go to. VHHH for me, for instance, I can then travel there, and it will then move me in the database, and it tells me that the jump seat travel has been completed. I'll show you later on why that is significant when I show you the tour map, and you'll see my little pip is right there. That little thumbtack or whatever it is to show you my location will then be there. Okay, so in a nutshell, if you guys have questions about this, you're going to obviously have to contact us. The VA support channel in Discord is dedicated to answering the questions, and we'll help you out. But from here on, you can see how many flights you've done, your hours, distance, everything is available to you. And then you see current airport VHHH. It changed because of that one. And these are the basics. In order for you to be able to fly for the airline and log your flight, it needs to be tracked. That is where the ACARS comes into. It's this guy over here. Okay. I need to quickly edit something in it. So just give me a second. I'm going to just switch the display. I just need to quickly change something here. Uncle John, I hear you pinging. I'm not sure if you're watching the stream, but I'll be with you shortly. Give me a second. Where's this thing? Ah, there it is. Just want to quickly edit this one picture to hide my API, because like we already established, it is a private thing, so you don't want people to know it and see it. I'm going to just blank out a portion of it and save it. Then I can show you guys. All right, okay, so let's get back to the other screen. All right, so this is where we were. In order for you to use it, you're going to have to go to utilities here at the top, and you're going to have to go to the downloads. All right, it's listed twice here. I'm not sure why, but you can use either that link or you can use that one. This is the ACARS. This is the little tracker program that you're going to need if you want to fly for the VA. So you're going to download that. All right. While it's downloading, it does not have an installer. So one of the things that you need to do is you're going to have to make it a home on one of your hard drives in a little folder, and you're going to extract it into that folder, and you're going to literally create a shortcut to start the ACARS. Let's do that quickly. Now I'm going to minimize this quick. So this is the zip file that I got, and what I'm saying to you is there is no exe. It's not an installer. So somewhere on your computer, you're going to make a folder, and we're going to call that ACARS. I'm putting it on the desktop to show you. You're typically going to have it somewhere in a C or a D drive or a special flight sim drive or something. And all we want to do is we want to now extract it into that position. And then what we want to do is we want to create a shortcut to where you want it to be, where you want to start it from. Okay. So when you start this up, mine is already logged in. So I'm going to just use it as an example, and I'm going to show you what you need to set up. This is obviously it. And okay, let me show you this. You're going to start with a little gear here at the bottom. This is settings. Okay. And when you open the settings up, it's going to show you something like this. I've just blanked out. You see that black mark there, the API key. All right. If you go to your personal page, your profile in the website, where is that thing quickly? If you go there, click on that button over there and you click on profile, you will see that on the website there is an API key that you need to show to yourself and see it. Then you copy it and you have to put the API key in this field. Furthermore, you need to put the VA website address, the URL, at the top. Check for your beta. Some captain, I see you worried about the blurry screen. Shouldn't be. Make sure you're seeing it in 1080p. I'm broadcasting in 1080p. Anybody else have a problem with it? I don't have any notice of it.
No, Nico, it's clear.
Okay, maybe some captain, hit Control F5. Maybe just refresh your page quickly. I'll wait for you. I'll give you a few seconds. Thanks, Kies. While we're waiting for him, let's quickly see. Uncle John, you're looking for me. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Sorry to hear that. Hope you feel better soon. Right, okay. I think that should be enough time. Okay, I'm gonna continue then. Right, so always have the beta checkbox ticked, because otherwise you're not going to get updates, and this thing sometimes updates every day or every second day. Nabil, the guy who writes the program, is very busy. He's also, you know, pumping out updates regularly, so that needs to be ticked definitely. So when you start it up, it's going to tell you there's an update, and you just run the update, as easy as that. Okay. the Discord status, I've got it on. I haven't integrated this into my Discord at all. So for me, it's irrelevant. If one of you guys have your own Discord and you want to integrate stuff, you're welcome to do that. I do not have automatically check for scenery changes on because I use X Organizer and I sometimes change my scenery 3 or 4 times a day, depending on where I fly, in which region and stuff. And it will drive you insane if this thing wants to rescan your scenery every time. So my recommendation is just keep it off. All right. Then obviously I've selected X-Plane. This thing actually supports all the simulators as far as I know, so you must just click the drop down to get it, and then you have to show the path, obviously. Okay, once you are done, before you go too much further, you need to resync your scenery, all right, at least once. The reason you have to do that is you need to allow the program to see where you are at, because at the end of your flight it's going to give you a PIREP. It's going to say which stand you were on, which runway you used, and if you do not scan your scenery, it's not going to record correctly. It needs the information, so you have to do this at least once, and then after updating your scenery. And this is why I say it will drive you insane if you leave the automatic on. So what I did was I went into X Organizer, I enabled all my scenery, and I left it. It ran about half an hour or so. Might be exaggerating a little bit, but it took quite some time. It's got a complete snapshot of all my scenery, and then I went back into X Organizer and I disabled the areas I don't want to have active in X-Plane, but at least the system knows about it. So if I'm standing on gate 8 at whatever airport, it knows I'm there, and it then tracks the time accordingly from point to point and all these things. And that is a necessity. Once you are done, please remember to save everything, because otherwise you're going to have to redo it the next time you open the ACARs. All right, so once you've saved it, you're basically going to be in business. You will see it will look like this. You will have your avatar under your profile. You can go and put a little picture. I just used my Facebook avatar. Okay, but you can go and check there in your profile to change the name and the picture and everything. One of the things we did do in the website is, and it is because some of our members are military or ex-military, and they don't necessarily even use their real names. We are very big on privacy, and one of the things you can see there, it's not displaying my surname. Also, when we do the flight planning later on, you'll see it only displays Nico. There's no other identifiable information that gets displayed at any point in time. Now, a normal user of the system will obviously not display what I'm showing to someone else. It is going to be private on your own system, but just in case, we take that into account. So again, it shows current location. I just want to quickly close this and reopen it, because I opened it obviously before we did the jump. I just want to see if it will pick up on that jump seat that we did. Yeah, there it does, you see. So as any other normal computer application, if all else fails, just reboot it, right? There we go. So this is the landing page. It's every time going to open here. It's going to give you your access to your NOTAM. That is the latest NOTAM. It doesn't show multiple ones, where the website actually shows multiple ones. Then if you go to the next icon, this is where you can start looking at your flights and all. I would suggest skipping this page. This is more important. But are we going from top to bottom? There's a map. We'll come back to that as well. I would start here. Okay, so there are two ways of finding flights. You can either come directly here and you can GCTS, GCLA. You can type in departure and ICAO and simply search for it. If there are any flights, there should be, unless I'm dyslexic and I'm typing incorrectly. Let me just quickly go check. But oh, it's cleared them out. All right. And you know what? I'm not there. I'm at LPMA. That's why. I'm sorry. My mistake. All right, so if you type in valid information, you'll get valid information. The old story of garbage in, garbage out, right? So we've basically done a search, and it shows us that there is a flight. I can then click on load a flight. It will populate everything for us to a certain extent. All right, so there's your actual route, which is simple. It's a one-way point route. The sits and stars are quite extensive, so they go on for miles and miles and should fill in the blanks. One thing that you must please never ever do is never change any field that is already filled in, because you're going to mess the database around. Please don't do that. It's not up to you to change a flight number or a leg number or an ICAO code or whatever. It is what it is. If you fly for a real world airline, you can't decide if you are booked to fly a route from LAX to JFK that you're going to end up in Paraguay. You know, you can't fly down to South America. You've been given an assignment, and as the captain of the aircraft, you need to fly the assignment, right? Your next step is literally going to be, and this will answer one of the questions I saw earlier, is to go and pick your aircraft. All right. This is the actual active aircraft list. All right. Currently, it is not blocked. So you, me, and the next guy, we can all decide we're going to fly that aircraft. Okay, so it's T8 TDZ. That's the registration. That's the single class Zibo. It's the 189 seater. And it's not going to limit you, me, or the next guy to fly it at the same time. It's kind of a little bit unrealistic, but there isn't a block on it yet. I did ask the developer to look into that so that we don't have 3 or 4 guys flying the same aircraft, building massive hours in that airframe, and the other 25 odd models are just standing gathering dust on the floor because nobody wants to fly them, something like that. You can manually override the cargo, and you can manually override the actual passenger number. All right. The VA software is not intelligent enough to understand certain limits and CGs and all these other things that some application like SimBrief, for instance, understands very well. All right. So we'll talk about this discrepancy once or twice more during the presentation, just to get you guys to understand that you must please not split hairs. Don't be pedantic about the one figure not matching the other figure, and I will explain why as we go on. Okay, so if you do it this way, this is the difficult way, because at this point in time you've done no flight planning, you don't have your SimBrief OFP, and you really don't know if that is a valid combination. You don't know, but the VA will accept it as a valid combination, and it's not going to blink twice or think about it. It's just what it is. Okay, so I'll show you how I do my flight planning later on, and then you'll understand where I get my verifiable information from to actually put in here. Okay, then I'm just going to open this thing up a little bit. All right, ignore the light rules. You can switch it on. We don't have any demerit points or any issue with rules that is broken that's going to give you less pay or penalize you in any shape, way, or form at this point in time. You're going to have to do something really drastically bad to get some bad response from the system, because we also in a sense still learning the system and seeing what is compatible and what's not. The Zibo mod, for instance, uses a lot of unique data refs that doesn't exist in other aircraft. It's Zibo literally just made them up for his purposes. And what happens is some of these rules that are built in here are obviously based upon default aircraft. And if you go fly the Flight Factor A320 or the JAR Design or the Polaris or the Zibo, the data refs don't always match up with what is expected. So if we enable those kind of punitive rules, you're going to upset people because it's going to moan, and you'll see when it runs the ACARs later on, this thing records freaking everything that you do. It's a massive black box, and to just keep everybody happy. You can ignore it there. It's irrelevant. But I mean, if you have the OCD and you want to press it, please do it. It's not a problem. Then at least you shouldn't see a lot of the issues. Okay, once you are in the aircraft, you are literally now ready to start setting up. I would recommend, just because I don't want you to forget later on, start the flight. Click on start the flight. This will then connect to your X-plane. It will then start to log the flight. But there's one step that I did not tell you that I need to tell you quickly. In order for this ACARS to connect to X-plane, you are going to have to install the plugin. So in your ACARS folder, you see there's an X-plane folder. That ACARS Connect folder needs to be installed in resources and plugins. There you go. There it is. Okay, so that is the connector that is going to make your ACARS see your X-plane and be able to track it, what you are doing in it. So please remember that it is part of the installation. You have to go to your ACARS folder, go to the X-plane folder, grab that one and put it into the resources plugins folder. All right. So as I said, once you are happy to start your flight, you click that. You have to do this before you release your parking brake. It doesn't matter if it's a half an hour, or 2 seconds before you release your parking brake for the pushback. This needs to be started, okay? And then it will automatically go to the map, and you will be able to see over here. This is the black box side. You're going to see every single thing that happens is going to be recorded in here. You can then obviously zoom into yourself. You can click on follow flight, all these things, and you can see how it actually draws the flight line for you. All right, so one tip I want to also give you, this is a bit of an afterthought, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. If you have a saved flight, explain output FMS plans. If you have a saved flight, and we're going to talk about that in the VA as well, you can physically go and you can import it. So you double click on it. It will then change this flight if necessary. And what will then happen is when you go to the map, it will actually show you all the curves and the bends. Okay, so it's going to draw you the line between point A and point B as the flight plan goes. If you do not load a flight plan, it's not the end of the world. I mean, if you don't do this step, all that's going to happen is it's going to draw a straight yellow line, straight from point A to point B. So you will find that your aircraft sometimes will be on the line and sometimes not, because the flight plan is not a straight line. You understand? So, and that's about it. Once the flight is done, you will see that wording will change to end flight. So once you've set your parking brake engines off, you're ready to shut down the sim on the other side, and you want to file it, you will click on the same button. It will say end flight. You click on it, and it will then bring up a PyRep for you. All the necessary information that you want, like your landing rates and all these things, are in there. Your duration of your flight, etc. And then that wording will change again at that point in time. It will say file flight. So once you've looked through your PyRep, if it's something that you do, I tend to not really care about it. I just click, end flight, file flight. But you will literally then have to click on file the flight, and it will then be put into your database. All right, so if you go to the dashboard, you'll see the last flight will be listed here. If you go to operations and PyReps, you'll see your last flight is recorded here. The only limitation we currently have is the ACARS only work for Windows. It does not work for Mac, and it doesn't work for Linux. So in that regard, what will happen is you're going to use a button such as this, file a new PyRep, and I'll show you later on how to do it properly, because currently it's going to be a mess if you just start filling in blanks, because there are certain things, again, just like in the A cars, any field that is filled in should never be changed. You only change the fields, you as a person, as the pilot, change the fields that are blank. All right, so please always remember that. Okay, so let's go back to the dashboard. I'm going to give you a quick overview, and then we're going to do some flight planning and show you guys to get going. Just to familiarize you with the rest of the website, under operations, you will find the flights, the bids, free flight dispatch, and obviously the PyReps that I just showed you. First of all, the flights is basically the database. We have over 3,500 flights already in the database. It grows almost daily and at least weekly. Last week I probably put in 500-600 flights myself. Uncle John probably did more than that. So in the last week or so alone, we've added about 1,000 flights. Okay, it is something that grows dynamically. You can, on the Discord, go to the VA route request page, and you can actually either fill in the request or just make a request and say, listen, I see in the VA there isn't a flight between, let's say, for instance, Johannesburg and Cape Town. No, trust me, the flights are there. I'm just giving an example. And then you would request, please make me a flight between Johannesburg and Cape Town, or LA and Palm Springs, for instance. Then we quickly make one for you. The facilities are there. One of the reasons for this, obviously, to have fun and all these things, is also to make people enjoy adding something to it. Put a little piece of yourself in there. So if you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 flights that you feel you want to fly that's not in here, and if it's viable for the Zibo mod, for instance, then do your request. We'll add them periodically then into the system. So that's your main database. I'll show you how it works just now, but let's just continue the overview. Right, then bids. Bids, it's a strange word to use, but I get the idea. Basically, you can use bids to bid on a flight. Some guys using the software obviously have certain stricter rules than we had. We will allow you to bid on the same route as anybody else, and both of you will get it. It's not like an auction, really. But some VAs do operate that rule. Basically, what it comes down to is you can create your own flight roster, your own schedule. So by going into flights, I'll show you how to do it. You can then start adding flights into your bids, or do a bid on the flight, however you want to say it, and it will then remember those flights in sequence, in order that you put them in. So when you plan a whole series of flights, that's the easiest way of doing it. You just go and put the bids in, create a little schedule for yourself, and when you get to your ACARS client, instead of searching for your flight, you're going to click on bids. Now I don't have anything in there, it's empty, but I'll show you when we do that. And then obviously your personalized flight roster will all be here, and you can then start flying the routes from here. Right, so that's what bids are for. It's just to help you a little bit, put something together. Then, let's use this example. If there is, let's say on VATSIM or on iVeo, and you guys know we basically fly on iVeo mostly, there's an event. Okay, you're going to fly from Copenhagen to London, Heathrow. Okay, and let's pretend that flight is not in the VA at that point in time, and you've requested the flight but we haven't put it in, but you're desperate, you really want to just go and do that flight, it's a once off and you just want it in there. That's when you go to the free flight dispatch. You literally go there, fill in the blanks. There's 3 questions. It asks you your flight number, the departure and the destination, and you generate whoop, and there you get a flight that you can log. Obviously, you will have to take responsibility for your own flight planning and things like that, but at least it gives you like a cocoon, a capsule. you know, a vehicle that you can use to then log your flight. All right, so that's what that is about. And PyReps obviously is what I showed you earlier. That's all your completed PyReps, that, you know, basically your logbook. Under airline detail, we have pilots. I'm not going to show that to you right now. Don't want somebody to say, oh, you put my name on the stream and I didn't give permission, or whatever it would be. So we're just going to skip that one. Once you are in and agree to the terms and conditions, you can go look there yourself and you'll see some information about the other pilots in there. Our fleet hangar, that basically will show you which aircraft are available. All right, so it's the, where is that thing? It's basically this list of all the aircraft, but in more detail. All right, so I just want to pull it down a bit, and I absolutely forgot to talk about the Airbus. Let me just quickly show you. We've got the A319, A320, A330, and then it starts with your IXEG 737-300. I've already made provision for the level up 600, 700, 800. See, there's a lot of 800s. The one I do not see here currently, and I'm not sure whether it's enabled or not, we can check later, it's the 900, but the provision is made. You understand? So once you go to that hangar, it's just going to show you, you know, it all in more detail. It's going to show you the usage, how many hours and miles and things the aircraft have flown. Then we've got the airline ranks. We've got quite a few. So you can start at the bottom and work yourself up to a senior captain. We've got certain awards already in place, and we will add more as time goes by. And then we've got the airline statistics. The airline statistics is similar to what you see here, but instead of just for you and yourself, it actually includes then all the stats for the whole airline, for the whole virtual airline. So you're going to see all the active pilots, and there are quite a number of guys that are inactive. So, you know, they just don't get counted at that time. Then we have a tours section. It's really a semi-standalone component. It uses its own flight database. So it is going to be a double up of some of the flights that are currently in the main database, but it's a structure that we have put in place where we can create tours and say to the guys, well, start with flight number 1, progress through to flight number 10 or 20 or 50 or whatever it is, and then you will get a little badge. Thank you so much for the subscription, Joaquin. Welcome. So we'll talk about that later on as well. Then, hello Anton, thanks for that too. There is a leaderboard. The leaderboard is divided in an all-time leaderboard that covers from the beginning of the VA up until now, and then we have a per month leaderboard at the bottom of the page, where you can see then on a monthly basis how the guys perform. You'll see the names, the amount of hours, and the amount of flights they've flown, things like that. That's under the leaderboard, and then we have the live map, which is basically similar to this one, where you can find more information on the current flights that are live. And lastly, in terms of the overview, we have the utilities drop down, where you can find the documentation. I'm going to start there. Let's go deeper into that. Let's go to the documentation. You can find the VA rules and policies, the quick start guide, which I'm busy updating. That is still the old one, so please don't get confused between the two systems. This is the old one. It's going to take me a day or 3 to really put something like this together, because I'm going to have to almost recreate this video that you guys are watching now on paper. So that's where that thing comes in. Then we have the NOTAMs, and we also have the VA terms and conditions. It's all available under documentation. Then guys, remember this VA comes from the guys from the Zibo pilots group. Obviously Zibo is the focus here, so there is a dedicated page where you can find the Zibo install guide for PC, for Mac. We've got the EFB user guide, the training checklist, and also the approach notes. If at some point in time we make additional videos and stuff, we can always put some links in here in this space. We are talking about it, thinking about it, so we'll get there. Downloads I showed you earlier. This is where you start. Just to recap, this is where you get the ACAR software. Also, which I didn't speak about earlier, is we've got a couple of liveries. The official livery is the one that is supported currently through IVAO and the online flying that we do there. But you can use any one of these. It's not going to make a difference which livery. You can fly Ryanair or American Airlines for all we really care when you are sitting in your own chair. But what will be important is when you fly online with IVAO at this point in time, that you do select Skymatix, because then we will see this livery, this official livery, when we look at you. So that's where you get that. That's download. And then the About Us. This is just a thank you page just for all the guys that have made it possible. So there you have that. All right, so let's work a little bit backwards. Live map. As you can see, it's similar to the other one I've shown you. You've literally got it in your own profile. You've got it on the live map, and I've already shown you once you're logged in. Same idea. There you have the same map, so you can see the same thing. The difference between this map on the website and this one is on this one you can actually see the people's names. So if you zoom in, you can see who's flying there. And there's Papino. Oh, he didn't wait for me. Papino, you're in a hurry.
Yes, sir. I'm there.
I see. All right. So anyway, yeah, I'm talking a lot, but it's necessary. We need to do this properly.
No problem.
All right. So yeah, that is just a live on air thing. What is nice, and you guys can go play around on the website. Click on any and everything that shows you it's a hyperlink. Look at this one. If I click on that one, you see it actually shows me the aircraft's flight route, and it shows me more details of this specific aircraft. So Daniel's busy boarding. See, it's nice, eh? Let's go back. Let's go find Bapino there quickly. There you go. So once you are in the air, it actually tracks you. It's very similar to the IVAO and the Watson tracker, right? So you can actually see where the guy is at, and follow him more closer. It's just nice to have. All right. I just want to quickly see. You know what? I'm not sure which one is going to work the best. I'm just taking a chance. Okay. Yeah, he's also still busy. We can look at it a little bit later. And once it's done, it actually gives you the financials and a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe we can do this under the Pirates. Let's go look at my one. This one is the last one. Yeah, there you go. This one's obviously finished. So over here, you can see all the fun and games we had. I did a go around earlier, and they tracked me all around until I came in and landed again. There's the financial breakdown. Currently, this is, like a white elephant. It's just there, but it doesn't mean anything. But at least you can see you made a little bit of money and so on. So. All right, so that's so much for the live map and PyReps. Let's just finish it off there. This will obviously, as long as you don't delete them, keep track of all the flights that you've done, so you can go back and check them out at any point in time. Leaderboard, let me show you that quickly. So there you have it. At the top, this is the all-time statistics, and at the bottom, this is for the month of May, and you can actually see how many flights each person has done, and also the amount of hours that they've put into the VA. So as an incentive for some people, I know a couple of guys here like to chase and be first, chase numbers and be first. It's just something we brought in for them. Hello, Christer. All right, I'm going to skip tours. I'm going to come back to that last before we start the flight planning. Airline details, the pilot's list. Yeah, you're a busy boy. Right, so this is the hangar, this is the aircraft, right? So in this one, you can actually then go a little bit deeper into them. Mako did a stunning job of finding pictures, it seems. Thank you, Mako. I've never been in this page. I left it as a surprise for myself as well. You can see it's the 737-300. So this will be for the IXEG. And then there you can see the flights that it's done. So it's like also its logbook, the aircraft's logbook. If we go down, you can see some of them are active, some of them are stored. There are certain criteria we just manage behind the scenes, and then obviously you can see per aircraft. You can see I've done a bit of testing for level up, so that's got some time on that airframe. Yeah, so this is just to show you a little bit more about the aircraft. I just want to see what it shows if we actually click there. It doesn't take us anywhere. All right, that's obviously just the airport. So that's about it then. All right. Then the ranks. These are the ranks that is available. New pilot, second officer, first officer, captain, and senior captain. It it's got different pays for whatever rank you have, and then also if you file automatic PIREP with your ACARs, you get slightly more than you make with doing it manually, just ever so slightly. All right, you can then per rank also see which aircraft is available per rank. All right, so the first two excludes the Airbus A330, for instance. All the rest are there. And then when you get to the next rank captain, you'll see that it's got the A330 then included. So there's 8 types and 7 types for each individual one. Huh? What on earth did I do? I picked the wrong one. No? Okay, sorry for the confusion. There it goes. Then, like I said, this is just something we put together quickly just to have some other award system. We are talking about bringing in tour awards, which we'll get from the tours, and special assignments and training and everything. So we'll probably do, I will add a whole bunch more of this. Lucian, yes. And our database gets backed up by the supplier, so you're not going to lose anything that goes in here. Your log should be fine. We should be able to recover everything for you. In actual fact, I mean, if our system doesn't die, it's not going to be necessary for a recovery. It all just stays here. All right, next. See. Airline statistics. Let's go look at the airline statistics. All right, so we've got the main airline. We've got a Skymatix long haul section. So there are certain flights that you can only fly with the A330 at this point in time. Somebody asked me this morning, Steve asked me about the 747. We can put in the 747 later, but typically your long haul, those are the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hour and more flights, that you'll find over there. Then we've got the tours and then we've got the training, but we haven't done much on the training side. All right, so if we go to the Skymatix VA, I just want to see where that link takes us, if anywhere. It's thinking. I'm not sure it's going to take us anywhere. There we go. All right, so it's just a little summary, it seems. So there we've got the fleet, the pilots, and the PIREPs. All right, so this is a whole combined thing that it's showing you. See what it looks like. All right, okay. And then it jumps back to the hangar. All right, we're not too worried about that. You guys can play with all the rest. All right, okay, so before we now get into this side of things, let's quickly talk about the tours. Okay, I'm going to set up an inaugural tour, just to launch the tours basically. And then we've got the IVAO World Tour 2021 IFR Tour in here. So each tour section will have a little map. It will show you the flights that is happening. And remember, in the beginning of the video, I did a jump seat and I went to VHHH, and the reason is it now identifies me as being there, and I can see at a glance where I'm at. Okay, so the idea behind this tour section is you're going to start at the top and you're going to fly down to the bottom, and once you get to the final leg and finish that one, you will then be awarded a reward from the VA. This has got absolutely nothing, even though we're using the name of IVAO here because it is a copy of their tour. It's got nothing to do with IVAO. If you do fly it on IVAO, you're going to get your around the world IFR tour little badge anyway on the IVAO side. But please see, this is separate. This isn't linked to each other. The reason we put it in here is just to have the facility in an easier form of just while you're flying the tour, you can actually log it for the VA as well. All right. The aim here is not to start in the middle. If you're going to start somewhere in the middle, the tour will never be finished because you'll only get recognition if you actually complete each leg. Now, a lot of us have actually completed most of these legs. I mean, I'm personally currently here, a VHHH. Right, so I've completed 41 legs. There's no ways I'm going to now go and fly 41 legs again just to finish the tour a second time just because I want it in the VA. So I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'll show you how I do that. But if there is a workaround, I'm going to try my darndest best to actually, find a way to actually give the recognition in the VA as well for the guys who have, done the tour. If it's not possible, it turns out that it's not possible, then, it's one of those things. Then I might as well remove this from the VA. But it is also, as much as it is a nice to have, it's also a technology demonstrator and something that, we're going to play a bit with. So, all right. So these are the tours, and obviously it's going to evolve. One of the things that it will evolve into is going to be training flights. We're going to set up certain training flights with certain training criteria, and as you already saw, our tracker is very good at tracking it. So if we told you to land on a certain runway and you land on the different runway, for instance, we're going to know. We can see if you land too hard or too soft or all these other things. The tracker literally will tell us, and then in that form, between me and Sasso and the other pilots, we'll put together some training stuffs that you're literally going to start with leg one, fly through to the end, and get your recognition. All right. So apart from making it fun and all, games and all, we're going to have a more serious side to it, and then we're going to give you guys some really good training. If you want to change the map, by the way, that's the facility. There are quite a few maps. I kind of like this one. Anyway, it's there. So, and that's it for the tours. Let's look at the operations and the flights then. We have taken out that map that you guys just saw. Will also eventually be incorporated in this page, so you can do a search and then see all the different routes on the map that you search for. We've just disabled it. Mako wants to just make it a little bit better, then we'll re-enable it. But for now, your search facility, you can search between the different airlines. Skymatix is the main one, and then to get your flight, you can literally browse. But there's like there's 183 pages at this point in time. I told you it's over 3,000 flights already. It's going to take forever to just scroll through here. So the best I would suggest is LPMA. Let's just search for a flight. And we want to go to GCLA. We said La Palma. And now we can do a search. All right, so that is the flight. Now, there are a couple of things we can do over here. We can expand it and get a little bit more information. There's the route again. That's a suggested flight level. I'm going to show you how to override that later on as well, or you can just stick to it. That's up to you. Tells us the duration, the nautical miles. Some of these routes are very challenging, and some of them have certain operations that is like a must do. Okay. If you get a route that includes something like that, it will typically be written there in the flight notes. Like for instance, the very first flight that is in the VA is the one from Porto to Lisbon. If you take off on a runway 17, you have to be at a different cruise level than when you take off from runway 35. From runway 35, you get quite a bit extra track miles, so you can climb higher with more ease than when you take off runway 17. It's straight out. Then you have to lower your altitude, but there are altitude restrictions, so these kind of notes are made. It obviously also shows us then the aircraft that is operating on this route or capable to operate on this route, and that you get from that little button over there. We can then click on the information button, and here you can see a graphical map of it. It gives you the weather for the alternate, the weather for the arrival. You can look at the actual meter and the TAF, and then it's got the departure. Same story, all the relevant information is in here. Okay, so again, you didn't have to click the bid button from there. I clicked it from here, sorry, from the previous page, but you can see there's an add remove bid button here, and it will do what it needs to do to get it. So sorry, I just realized I didn't click it. So I'm going to click it now, and I'm going to say fine. It's gone into my bids. There's the bids now, and I'm just going to quickly go back. And let's take the next one, GCLA, La Palma, and search on that. So these are all the flights departing from La Palma. So I can now go and look at which one I would like to do next. You see, I'm flying in from LPMA, so there is the destination. We can take off from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this as another bid. And I'll show you quickly. See, now in my bids, you've got both of them. If we go to the ACARS and we click on bids, I'm not sure. There you go. See, there it's giving you the bids as well. And remember, I said this is how you can set up your own flight roster. And then the only time these flights will disappear is after 8 days. It only keeps the records for 8 days in cache. Or if we do a flight upload. I felt so sorry for Marc trying yesterday. He had to create these bids 2 or 3 times because every time he creates them a few minutes later, I updated the database and then it threw them away. So if it happens to you, those are the 2 reasons. 8 days or we update the flight database. Okay, so here we have the flights. Now this is where the magic starts to happen. If you are on Mac and Linux, or if you forgot to start your ACARS, and trust me, it's even happened to me, you can physically click on new PyRep. Now if we click on new PyRep, you see there again, it's now filling in the blanks for you. Where you find a opportunity to type something because the field is blank, you obviously have to put in the details. You can change your flight level if you need to. You have to specify your aircraft. Okay, you've got to put the bulk fuel and the fuel used. And obviously, if you don't fill this in, I'm going to be suspect of you actually completing the flight. I mean, there's certain things that you need to be aware of. Over here, you can add cargo, and you can add your passengers that you flew. And you can put a little remark there for my attention, and then once you're done, you click save the PyRep, and then you click submit. It will take you to a next page as a summary, and you can verify everything, and then you submit the PyRep, and that's how you log it manually. So Again, if you can't use the ACARS because of your operating system, or if you simply forgot, this is your way out to actually get the recognition. You must please make sure that you do fill in the cargo, even if it's 0, and obviously the passengers, because that will influence the financials of the system. Not that it matters so much right now, but if you want to do it, you might as well do it right. Okay, then to actually fly this, you've got a choice. You can continue like I've always shown you on my flights. You can use your Sim Toolkit Pro, and you can merely copy the relevant information and go the route that I've always done, or we can use create the SimBrief flight plan. So I applied and received an API key from SimBrief, and it gives us this. This is where it starts. We have to select our aircraft. Again, there's the whole list. I'm just going to take that one and proceed to flight planning. And for any of you guys that have ever used SimBrief, you'll see it looks very much similar, right? Because what's going to happen now is you're going to fill in the blanks again, and I'm going to show you a couple of these things, the extra tools that we've incorporated to make it easier and more realistic to do your flight planning. And then you're literally going to generate the dispatch. It's going to take all of this information, send it to SimBrief, do the transactions, the calculations, and then it's going to bring the information back in the form that you know it. It's going to allow you to download the different PDFs or flight plans for your different applications, give you the OFP and the whole story. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so what is important at this point in time now is you can see the grayed out stuff you can't do anything about. You can actually change your alternate if you don't like the one suggested by the VA, and then it's up to you now to decide which runway is active. Okay, now if you don't know, leave it at auto and hope for the best. Okay, SimBrief is very good. It's not perfect, but it's very good. It should give you a reasonable indication of which runway is in use. Okay, once you get more advanced as a flight simmer and we do a little bit of training with you, or you figure it out on your own, and you realize that certain airports have SOPs, standard operating procedures, that allow certain runways to override other runways regardless of the weather up to a certain point. There's all the ifs, ands, and buts. Once you understand that, it's going to be easier to pick your own runway. Until then, leave it at auto. It's going to help the new guys a lot to just to leave it at auto. For me personally, I'll typically now go to the METAR at the departure, that one, and then later on to the arrival. So it tells me that this airport at Madeira, and it even gives me a little graphical interface, it suggests currently that runway 5, you see it's a bit highlighted there, bold in white. It suggests that runway 5 is active, and the reason is you can see the wind, the way the wind is blowing. It's going to come from 11 o'clock there as you arrive on runway 5. So runway 5 is definitely active. It gives us all the other variables. You see there, winds, visibility, ceilings. It shows a little bit of cloud there. The cloud is reasonably out of the way there. And so on and so forth. And then obviously, I see by default it gives in inches the barometer setting, but over here you can find the QNH for us guys on the side of the pond. So there's your actual METAR. So what is going to be important is just the runway. So we know runway 5. We're going to force runway 5. And then we're going to go to the arrival METAR. And according to this, you can see the way the wind's blowing. 18 is the relevant one. It's not much wind. It's much of a muchness, and you'll probably find that the ATC or the SOP of the airport is going to say that, but hang on, due to terrain or whatever, 36 is going to be the preferred runway. And in actual fact, I think 36 is the preferred runway at this location. We won't know until we actually go and read up on it. But for this kind of wind, do not headwind for not crosswind. You might as well fly straight into runway 36. And I know this because I've been there, so it's just one of those things. But I think you can agree this is a nice way of determining certain basics, right? So there's a TAF and a history, no times, all kind of things there that you can look at. To hide it, you just click the button. It's a toggle switch. So it currently says 18. So let's put it on 18. There's another way of obviously checking it out, and that's to go to Navigraph. I'm going to say create a new flight. GCLA. And then I'm just going to quickly save this. As usual, in a creature of habit, just want to check the lay of the land. So it helps us. We're going to take off going that way. And let's go to GCLA. So typically, because I know that terrain could be an issue, I would like to read this and see if they say something specific about the runway operations. Runway 36 shall be used for takeoff and landing whenever the tailwind component does not exceed 10 knots. And what did it tell us? It said that we have a headwind of 2 knots. So if we turn it around, and we come in now on the runway 36, we'll have a tailwind component of 2 knots. So the SOP says runway 36 is actually the preferred runway. All right. DG Will, our website is live. You can actually come and use it already. And the reason I'm making this stream is to help the new guys to get into it, and also to just show all the features and stuff, because I want to use this video for training later on, so I don't have to recreate this every week or two, you know. So you're most welcome to go and explore the website. It is available for you to play with. Guys, just another thing, just a quick note. While I am thinking about it, any payware, like for instance Navigraph, you can see it is clearly integrated here. If you do not have a Navigraph subscription, we're not giving you one. In that case, you won't have access to it. But in case you do have a Navigraph subscription, what you need to do is you click this button. You see there, to use Navigraph, you must first log into Navigraph. You click that button, log into Navigraph, and then obviously, as you can see, it is fully integrated. It is here now. Okay, so any payware stuff, this is, you know, the most the biggest one of them all. I don't think there is actually any other payware, but if it is payware, obviously subscriptions goes to Navigraph, you need to get that. All right, so coming back to the planning, this is runway 36, so that's easy enough. In fact, let's just pin that. So no, not the one I want. That's the one I want. So we're definitely coming in on 36. And so we're going to tell Navigraph we're forcing it to come in on 36. You see, now I'm not sure if Navigraph will honor the SOP that is at the airport. So if you leave it on auto, you're obviously taking a gamble. You know, as a flight simmer, it might not be important, depending on what level you want to simulate to. But obviously, the tools are here to help you and assist you to find the right, you know, combination of things. Currently, as you can see, that is the company route. So I'm going to make a copy of that, and I'm going to go back to Navigraph so that I can actually paste it in there and save it. Let's just close this a little bit. So there you have it. You see one single solitary little waypoint, and then now we obviously have to find the SIDS and the stars that go with that. So before we continue, let's just do that. We said runway 5 on this side. Let's look at the departures. Cos G. Okay. Let's try that one. That one looks better. Right, so I've decided on that one, so I know that is going to be the relevant one. And then on the arrivals, let's go have a look, see. That one looks viable. That one looks viable. actually think that one is going to be the better one. Okay, but it's the same as that one, so we might as well take the first one in the list. And we're going to do the NDB DME for runway 36. There you go. So there's that little bit of vectoring that's going to have to happen there. Let's quickly save these charts as well for future reference. All right, so there's a little arc thingy coming there. Let's see if we can get a better approach. Not really. What is that one? No, it's on the other side. That obviously will be the choice. Okay, so I'm not sure if the Zibo will actually display the arc. We'll get into the cockpit. We'll sort that out when we get there, but it's fairly straightforward. That seems to be the route that we're going to take. Now, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to click cancel. Let's quickly go there, and then what I am going to do is I'm going to update this route, and I'm going to include the Sidon Star. Now, in the last couple of days, maybe week or two, we picked up that some of the divisions in ATC, speaking ATC now, some of the divisions in IVAO don't want you to actually file a Sidon Star in your flight plan. All right, notably at this point in time, the one that we had to have a bit of a discussion with was the Italian guys. They don't want this to be there. So for them, we'll obviously, just leave it basic. But for our purposes, I'm just going to include it, and I'll leave it up to you to decide. If you do not like what you see, we've included a route finder. Okay, so you can physically go and get the route from route finder, copy and paste it in here as well. All right, so just FYI. We put a great deal of care into creating the flights for the VA. We don't just sit there and pump them out. Most of the routes for the last 3 weeks that we've entered are all Eurocontrol verified. All right, so they've been tested against the real world Eurocontrol requirements and they've passed. So the routes that we generally supply is high quality routes. You don't have to worry about them. It's not like Simbrief itself, where every Tom, Dick and Harry can go put a route in and the guy might not know the first thing about routing and actual flight planning, and then he makes a mess of it and you don't know any better because you just think it's the way it should be. So you guys can trust our routes. Don't worry about them. And if you pick up one that doesn't work, there is a section in Discord where you can report them, and then we will obviously fix them, because as you guys should know by now, there is an AIRAC cycle that changes every 27 days, I think, and we are bound to find things that will change in time. It might not be immediately, but who knows, even if it's a year or two from now, then you just notify us, we'll change them. All right, your estimated time of departure. Hello, Dimitri, and welcome. Welcome. The video will be up when we're done, so just follow from now on. You'll pick up quick enough. Obviously, the estimated time of departure is going to be relevant, especially if you fly online and if you want to pre-file on one of the networks. IVAO and VATSIM is supported already, so you can pre-file from our website here already. So I just want to quickly have a look. It's 17:30, so let's make this. I'm just going to make it the extra couple of minutes just so that we don't run out of time. All right, now over here you can force the flight level, literally force it. If you want 300, keep it. But what you can do is you can just, at this point in time, this is a bug, it needs to be fixed. But if you toggle the step climb over here, and that goes gray, you see you can't change that anymore. Okay, this will obviously allow Simbrief to automatically decide based on weather or whatever criteria it uses in its side to give you the best flight level for this flight. Okay, so it all depends on whether this is enabled or not. We tried last night to have it enabled by default, but it doesn't block this one out. So it's like we did our job. We need to still find the rest of that command to actually force it to go to a grayed out thing. Okay, so for the time being, just remember, if you want to have it really enabled, just toggle it All right. Over here is a big note that I need you guys to understand. This is where we talked about don't split hairs and don't, get OCD because of this, because I know some people will. So I'm warning you, fair warning from the beginning. The VA software at this point in time populated these fields. Okay, it comes from the VA. The VA has literally two values. It knows the zero fuel weight and it knows the maximum takeoff weight. And based on that, it makes certain calculations and estimations. Okay, it is not related to real aviation Boeing parameters that we've got in the Zibo. It is a suggestion, and that is why it is called an estimate. Okay, it's estimated. All right. What will happen is this is what the VA thinks you should have. This is according to its algorithm. This information is going to be sent to SimBrief, and SimBrief is way more clever than the software. Okay, SimBrief takes it, it evaluates it, and it will subtract the necessary cargo to actually make it viable. Because in the Zibo, the maximum payload that you can load is 19,600 kilograms. All right, and as you can see, we are way over, way over. The the VA software does not understand the limits because we obviously say to it, listen, you can put 8 tons of cargo in there or whatever. Okay. And it just does a basic calculation and gives you the basics. SimBrief will fix this. So just to prove the point, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And then I'm going to show you later on how SimBrief actually changed it, because SimBrief knows the limits. We pre-programmed templates into SimBrief that is according to the Zibo install guide, according to the actual Zibo figures, and I've done it for some of the other aircraft as well, obviously now. So the figures that SimBrief will give you will be the true figures, whereas this is the estimate. So let's leave it at that. Okay. Coming over to this side, you have an option to select a CI or a long-range cruise definition for your economy, your fuel usage. Okay. If you click on that little button over there, check VA CI policy. We've made it simple. Flights less than 2 hours 20 in the CI, 40 for 2 to 4 hours, and anything above 4 hours, it's advisable to use the LRC, your long range cruise. All right. That is something that SimBrief will bring into account when it does its calculations. Okay, so we did think about it. Now, by default, you see it's 20 in the CI. Contingency and reserve fuel. This is an ICAO regulatory requirement, so that's why we use it. This is the way ICAO works. All right. Step climbs, we've talked a little bit. ETOPS, you can say yes or no. You can put in alternate airports. I don't know why it reverts to 4 every time. 1 is enough. LPPS coming up would be 1, and GCTS is a very good alternate. I know the area, so that's fine. Over here, you can set your units, kilograms versus pounds, and then depending on what you want to see, you can enable and disable, a couple of things there. Right, so at this point in time, we are still on the VA. You've got access to Windy. This is obviously real world stuff, so you can go in, zoom there. There are a lot of things that you can change. There's rain and thunder and things. So you've got a fair idea of what's waiting for you. If you own Active Sky and if you've preloaded a flight into Active Sky, you can use ASXP. This is the web companion, and this will obviously show you your Active Sky information. We've already talked about the destination and the arrival stuff. Over here, you've got your VATSIM map, so you can actually see if you're flying on VATSIM where the ATC guys are. And so on, and I presume you can manipulate the display with all of these things. I don't use it at this point in time, but it is there. And then we also have the iVia Web Eye. Yes, continue. All right, and there you can see on iVayo there is ATC where we're going to fly, and then it's a nice to have just to give you a little bit of heads up of what's waiting for you if you're flying online. Um, and I just want to repeat myself quickly here. Remember, if you want this tab of Navigraph active, you have to first enable it with this little button, and that's it. So we're ready. We can now generate the dispatch. As you can see, it opens up the communication with SimBrief, and it's just as good as we are sitting on their website. So the only reason you will actually go to simbrief.com if you want to or need to is when there's an AirAC update, just to update your AirAC. But you can literally run the whole of SimBrief from here. Over here, you now get your summary. As you guys can see, the departure and the runways are specified. Your call sign is given. That is also something that we decided a long time ago, and we're enforcing it now. Your account number or membership number, whatever you want to call it, of the VA is your call sign. All right, so I'm Tix001. We made provision for more than 1,000 members of the VA because we actually wanted to grow a little bit. You can edit that in your iVayo flight plan or VATSIM flight plan later on, but as a default, it's going to use your account number. All right, then it also shows your equipment being used. As you can see, it doesn't show my surname. This is part of that privacy setting that we spoke about earlier. And then obviously now this is just a fun thing that Mako added. It gives a couple of fictitious people that you're apparently flying with, just as a bit of a laugh, If you want to download your flight plans and everything, that is your facility. This also, it's directly from SimBrief, so you can click the PDF document and you can click download. There it comes, and let me show you. There's your OFP. You see, so that's one way of getting it. I'm going to move it to one side. If we want to fly the Zibo, there's Explain 11. So we click on download again. It's going to put it in your default download folder. Now, just be careful. Some of the guys have changed their default download folder in their browser to be the Explain 11 Output FMS Plans folder. If you start downloading music or videos or any other application from the internet, just remember, if you do a drastic change like that, then all your downloads are going to go into your FMS flight plan. But effectively, this is what happened. There is the flight plan, and this is my Explain 11. So I'm going to go to Output FMS Plans. I'm literally going to move it from my default folder into my FMS Output Plan so that I can use the company route in the Zibo. And obviously, I mean, there's a gazillion other ones. Look at all this is a huge list. It's obviously the same as what SimBrief gives, full and complete. You can download any and everything there. All right, and just as a matter of interest, you can use this on FSX and P3D and such as well. I mean, it's not just bound to Explain 11. We have got guys actually using FS 2020 with this facility as well. So just, FYI. If you want to start over, if you're not happy about something, generate the new OFP. That's where you go to. If you have completed the flight, please don't do it beforehand. Don't cheat. You can actually do pre-file a PIREP over there. Okay, a PIREP means it's a pilot report. It's a past tense. It's something that's already happened. At this point in time, we haven't flown it yet. I haven't done anything, so that might not be the best place to have that button, in my opinion. We'll think about it. Over here, you can pre-file on iVayo. You can pre-file on VATSIM, or you can look at the route in SkyVector. So if I click on that one, it's going to take me now to my iVayo account and the pre-file facility. And there you go. It has added everything in there for us. Okay, the one thing that we still need to fix, guys, just to keep it real, is it's not adding the crew in. Okay, it was adding the crew in, and then we changed something, then it's not adding it, and we have to go and revert back there. Typically, you're going to add 6 people in there for persons on board. It's a small thing, and if I didn't mention to you, you wouldn't have known about it, but it's something that will be fixed. And like I've mentioned, just to make the call sign easier, I just get rid of the 10, and now I can actually submit it. Right, so it's pre-filed. That is done. The same would happen on the VATSIM side, like we've discussed already. There we have the VATSIM. I don't know which website this is, but I know what I'm talking about, just to show you the usage again. And obviously there is Navigraph to check up on um, the route that we've got in there. Typically what I would do is I would probably have this page open on one of my screens so that I can keep on continuously referring back to it, because if I don't, I'm going to have to run the desktop charts in a separate application, but while it's available, yeah, I might as well use it. Right, so then over here you've got all your summaries. All right, so this is your dispatch information. It tells you your flight number. That's your IATA flight number, okay, not the call sign. Tells you the departure, airport and runway, arrival, airport and runway, alternate. It tells you en route time, cost index. Your cruise altitude is suggested at 19,000. Okay, a bit low, but good enough. Your average cruise wind component and your average ISA is given. You guys that simulate to that level know what that is about. There it gives us the route again that we needed. And over here, you'll see 181 passengers, but look at the cargo. Let me go find that other screenshot quickly. You see, the VA said 3,808 kilograms, but SimBrief is more clever. It understands that there is just no way that you can load it. The Zibo limit is 19,600, so we're going to put in 19.6. All right, rounding off. So one of the things that you guys must also remember, please don't split hairs about this loading thing again, like I mentioned earlier. SimBrief uses its version of rounding. Zibo uses his version of rounding, and then I've got my own version as well. And the three of them don't always agree with each other, but if you're within a reasonable amount, just accept it. Don't cry if it's not spot on. We have tried to make it as spot on as possible, and I'll show you when we do the loading in the Zibo. It's as close as damn it is to a swear word, it's really close. All right, so there it also tells us the block fuel, and it also tells us the total reserve. All right, so this page typically is for the novices, the guys who just want to get a quick scan over it. You can go to display the OFP, and there's the actual Lido format OFP. I typically like to use this because you guys know you need the payload in the Zibo and you need the fuel in the Zibo, and then we cross-check the zero fuel weight and the takeoff weight, and this is supposed to be the same figures that goes into the Zibo. All right. What you can also do is you can look at your flight maps. So there it shows you a couple of things. And you can also go to the weather. So this is the weather according to the OFP and SimBrief at this point in time. Just a couple of nice things to have. So I'm going to leave this page open, and I'm going to refer to Navigraph during the flight and all, because now when I want to taxi and all, it's easy enough to just pick up where I am at. All right. Okay. All right. So in terms of the VA website, you are literally now set to go. I'm going to quickly just close my ACARs and just reopen it so that we are settled with that we get it sorted. DZ simulation, if it doesn't bring it up, the link is in the description below the video. Oh, right, there it is anyway. But guys, the Discord is in the description below the video. All the links and stuff is there. Right, so okay, we can actually move on now. We don't need to do anything else. All right, those were for demonstration purposes. All right, so now we're going to just quickly grab this flight. So we want LPMA to GCLA we've clicked on the load button. All right, there it's put it in. You'll see it's actually pre-selected the aircraft that we told it to do. All right, and now all we need to do is just manually fix this up. Where's that figure again? It was 819. 819. So just to refresh your memory, there it is. The cargo is 819. Right. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm now going to start my explain. Explain is not running. Nope. Ha 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 ha. Look how I catch myself. It's funny. I don't know why they actually allow it, but I did look and I didn't see it, and now I look again and now I see it. There is the explain running already. We don't need to do anything. It is there. Right, so here we are, Linda. You've probably said hello and I didn't hear you, so sorry about that. Okay, so this is the ACORS, and at this point in time, just because I don't want to forget about it, what I do is I click start the flight. All right, and there you go. Here is your flight. Now it's busy being logged. I'll show you as we continue how it logs the rest. So I'm happy. It still looks like a bit of daylight in this place, which is cool. Right, so we can actually now start up and start using these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is done. Pre-plan.
Run to cockpit. Plan acknowledged.
Alright, we want the GPU and we want to start that, and we will look at the payload and everything just now. Let's just get some power into the aircraft and get some of the things going. Right. Those are the basics. Right, so let's see. In our OFP, I'm going to try and split the screen a little bit. In our OFP, our payload is 19.6 and the fuel is 5.4. So let's put that in. 19.6 and 5.4. Alright, so let's call the fuel truck. Alright, now one of the things that I usually do is I just put the landing CG in a more favorable place. You can leave it as is. The difference is if you leave it like this, the aircraft will have a more stable departure, takeoff and departure, versus a stable approach. If you change the CG, there's a whole story behind that for those of you that do not know. 1476, we're going to subtract some at the front and put it more towards the back. 3193, that gives 196 again. This will just give me a better, more stable approach. It's just a habit that I picked up from Twixter a long time ago. So for those of you that don't know, we can talk about that at some point in time again. It's also in the training manual, training checklist. Right, then what we need to do is now go set up this FMC. In actual fact, let's go closer. So LPMA, GCLA. And for those of you that remember or can't remember, it's either way, we need to have the same spelling. So we need to go look for LPMA GCLA, but it ends with a 01 if we want to import that route. So we're going to import it that way, and text 001 and activate and execute. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to go and do our departure and our arrival. Alright, so if you can't remember, it's easy enough to pick up from over here. There you have all the detail, just like that. We're going to take runway 5 and it's Kozatu Zulu. There we go. And our arrival is going to be ORTIS 1 Alpha on runway 36 NDP 36. ORTIS 1 Alpha is that one. 1 Alpha. I think it's that one. There's one way to find out, right? Looks fair enough, but I want to zoom out a little bit. Okay, fair enough. Alright, I just want to quickly check on active sky. 19,000, alright. Refresh and map. QNH 1017. So that is also set then. So let's go to route preferences. Zero fuel weight. Now I want to show you this again. Zero fuel weight is 62.7, and there we have 62.7. Our gross weight at takeoff is 68, and that's 68.1, 68.1. Okay, it's still actually loading the fuel. I just noticed it put the last bit in. So that's 68.1, 68.1. That's perfect. So now we need our reserves. Remember, it gave us that little summary, so we can actually go back there just to make it easier. Otherwise you have to do the mental arithmetic. But there you go, there's our reserves. So we'll make 2.3 the reserves. According to the OFP, we're going to use 20, and we're going to 190. I can't believe we're going to fly that low. Let me just see if there aren't any step climbs in there that I've missed, because that could also happen. Nope, it's just that one. Okay. Oh, it's going to be a low flight. 296 at 35 and 12. Tell you what I'm going to do when we are in the cruise or busy climbing and getting close to 19,000. What I'll do is I'll check in active sky, and then we'll probably just do a step climb ourselves just to get higher, and then we'll just adapt from there onwards. Right, N1 limit we can use, let's go for 36. Right, take off, flaps 5. Here you go. Anyway, gentlemen, while I am thinking about it, I think in terms of what the tutorial is, in terms of the website, it's pretty much a done deal, except for at the end of the flight to show you how to log the flight and all those things. So I'll try and put some timestamps to the video, and then you guys can, jump to the different sections, because this is pretty much just the flight that's going to happen. Now, I'm going to show you one or two small things in between. But the bulk of it is really done, except for the filing at the end, really. Just showing you a little bit of what happens. Okay. So we want 149. And preliminary, we're going to go 19. All right. Just want to boost the volume a little bit again.
Captain Hatcher on the fasten seatbelt sign. We do ask that all passengers take your seat at this time and please fasten your seatbelt. Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until all carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
All right, and for the landing elevation, you're going to have to go to the airport chart over there. And it's that one. Briefing? No, that one then. Airport elevation is 108 feet. So I'm going to make that 100. Okay, let us go, let the push back, might as well close the doors, get that beacon light on, before start procedure.
Before start procedure. Before start procedure completed.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Let's get our trim wheel sorted quickly, come on.
Trim up.
Still connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback. You may start the engine.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
Hey Mac, hey Paul.
Hello.
Yes, just chilling.
That's fine.
25 and 2.
I reckon I didn't say anything wrong, otherwise you would have shouted already. So you must be happy. Hello Peter.
I said enough in this morning's stream.
Ah, you're welcome to talk. You
Well,
don't have to be.
I distracted you enough that you
Starter
had to
cut
do
out.
a go around.
That was fun. That was okay. Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
This is a tricky approach, the final approach, because of the height that you come in and to miss the mountain on the left there. So we might actually do another go around this evening, not because of something you say, but just because I might not, feel comfortable landing, the first attempt. Waha, I used the wrong yellow line to turn on. There's
25
the
and
other
2.
line next to me. Oops. Okay, DJ, we'll speak to you again. Video will be up, so you can come watch it again anytime.
Correction complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Starter cut out. Engine start procedure completed.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Yes, Dimitri.
Flaps 5 set.
Alright, taxi light. Here we go. Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before takeoff procedure completed. Stabilized.
Approaching 0-5.
I'm just going to backtrack a little bit, turn around and go for it.
A good job I haven't got access to your failures in that simulation.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine.
On runway 2,
Well,
3,
I think it would be most
1,300
appropriate,
feet
gents,
remaining.
if it had a power surge on takeoff on the right-hand engine
Oh,
from ingesting all that grass on the startup after the pushback.
ah, you're nasty.
$100 remaining.
Stabilized.
Toga.
On runway 0-5.
Takeoff thrust set. $80 knots. Throttle hold.
There was a bump in the runway. I actually wheelied.
Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Come on, day.
Runway turn off, lights off.
So over there you can see we're being tracked already, and down at the bottom here you can see all kinds of things happening, and this is one of those things I talked
Flaps
about.
up.
The
Set.
data refs for the lights isn't necessarily correct and synchronized between the Zibo and the A car, so it gives all kinds of funny things about that, which is, you know, unfortunate, but you can't
Approaching
also
transition.
expect it to just run seamlessly with absolutely every aircraft, especially not a custom-made one like the Zibo. So, is what it is. In terms of
Transition altitude.
the website there, you can see Navigraph is tracking. We can actually, let's just duplicate this page. You can go to the live map, and you can also see all the guys that are currently flying. I'm one of those guys, obviously. pretty neat, I would say. I mean, I really like this.
It's a nice number of aircraft that we fly in these.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your support, gents.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. And remember what I said during all my ramblings. It's made to have fun. And if you want to contribute, there are ways of contributing. You can suggest your own flights to us and we can load them in. You know, if you want to put a part of you into it, you're welcome.
Right. Something, Nico, you could... something I haven't tested yet.
Mm-hmm.
In the new VA, on the Navigraph page,
Mm-hmm.
have you got Symlink, Sim thing enabled? Is it showing your aircraft in the...
Yes. If you look at my stream, you'll see it. There it is. It tracks it.
I can't see it at the moment.
Ah, sorry. I need to enable that you could see it. There you go. Too many screens, Mac.
Yeah, beautiful, thank you. So that's something I hadn't checked, but that's working. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Very nicely. So there you can also, let me just activate this again. There you can see we've just gone through 10,000 feet. If you click this little box, you can actually track your aircraft, you know. So the other alternative would be to just have it off and zoom out. There you go, there you've got all the other guys. If you put your mouse on these guys, you can actually see who they are. This is the only map that shows you that. The other maps just don't allow it because, you know, of the privacy issues.
Sorry. I slept well today.
I'm glad, Linda. Good on you. Good for you. I reckon the next step is just for the users to really get into using the website, you know, go play with it, then come up with questions. Gentlemen, ladies, if there are any, if you have any questions, you know, you have to ask them. If you don't do it here, obviously on Discord, because that's where all the support and everything happens for it. But my best advice is just to go play with it. This is my second time that I'm using it in the way that I've demonstrated. I've also, you know, only started this morning. If you watch this morning stream, you'll see how there were a couple of instances that I was a bit unsure, and I think I've got a bit more confidence now that I know a little bit better. So that just comes by playing, you know, and fiddle with it, see what happens.
Thousand to level off.
1,000 to go.
Okay, Kia, stay well. Bye for now. Mooi bly.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Right, so this is very low, like I said. 19,000 just doesn't feel right. So let's look at this. Let us see. We make it 25,000. What will this say to us? 29,000 is more favorable, but it's only approximately 2 knots. So it's also not the end of the world. I kind of feel so low at 19,000. I think I'm going to go up to 25. And I'll intervent. Let's climb. Oh, Peter, thank you so much. Will do. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Krister. Guys, you're awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it very much. $174 nautical miles for top of descent. That's obviously going to reduce now as we climb. So this is the approach that we need to do. I actually didn't pick up that there is an arc in the Zibo even, so we're going to go straight from there to straight there. And then we need to make sure that we do this climbing thing right and we have the correct decision altitude there. So we need to go down to 3.4 and decision altitude is 1.6. So we are literally going to manually hand fly the aircraft down from 5.3 DME.
Thousand to level off.
1,000 to go.
I could murder a cup of coffee. Would you care for one?
I know, 151 for top of descent. This is actually a neat, small little flight to do. Really nice, with some challenging issues at the approach. Right, we need to make sure that we do not have ILS enabled, because if there's a chance to use Ian until the breakaway point, then so be it. We need to go for 350 on the approach course. For those of you that have not landed here yet, you'll see on the left hand side there's a bit of a piece of the mountain sticking out a bit, and that's why the decision altitude is also so high. Why you need to break away if you don't have visual on that runway. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go to the intercept point. I'm going to set this down to the decision altitude, so it will break us and we can't go through unless we are manually descending. So 1600 is a good value there according to the chart, and this is a DA. In fact, it's an MDA, so we are going to take 1600 plus 40. There we go, so that takes care of that. Alright, now something that I have grown used to not using, which I got reminded of this morning, obviously, is this request for the weather info. So let's go GCLA, send. So our QNH is 1017, that side as well. Wrong button. 1017. Okay, and I thought I heard an alarm, but I can't hear it now. So let us look at our fuel situation. We currently have 4 tons and we estimate to land with 2.8 at 1.2. Right, so that takes care of that part of the planning. We want to break 3 for sure. If we don't break in enough time, then we're going down the hill on the other side. It will not be fun. There's no pub there, there's a big dip. Okay, so what else do we need to do? I think we've got most of it set up now. Yeah, you guys can take a toilet break if you want. We actually have...
I don't know whether you've noticed your YouTube thing for this.
No.
Have you mentioned it yet, Nico?
What?
Your YouTube chat.
No, Mac, my attention is taken away. Which YouTube chat?
Post, it was 6 minutes ago.
Oh, Peter. Yeah, I did, and I thanked him.
Sorry, I missed it.
No worries.
Sorry.
No, I did, and I thanked him. Right, so I'm going to enable ADF just for the visual sake of seeing where the NDB is, because that NDB seems to be right there on that threshold, or just before the threshold of that runway. We also have a VOR there. Let's tune that one as well. 1124. So we have some visual reference. Remember guys, these things have no bearing on how the aircraft flies, the actual approach. If we do use Ian, everything comes from the FMC. These things are literally just a visual aid, a little cue to help you find your way. Just a nice to have. Getting closer. Right, and just to show you guys, while we're going, you can still see we are being tracked all the way. Looking pretty good. Let's go to the website as well. Is this the second page? Let me just make sure. Yeah, I don't want to lose that page. Hold on. So, I think that's me. Yes. Yes, there you go. And here you can actually see the tracker. As it's tracking, you see the blue line is what is completed and that is what is left. Mac, this is a magnificent tool, eh?
Well, I think it's nice to have.
Yeah. No, it's very nice because you can literally confirm if somebody really did what he said he did, especially when we do the training and it becomes, you know, a thing of, you know, having to complete one task before being able to continue and then get your qualification kind of a thing, you know.
Yeah, but I think people who perhaps aren't in Discord or just sat at home, being able to monitor their progress in the chart, it's a bit like going to Flight Aware or Flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are some of us nerds that have weird pastimes.
Yeah. We've got a nice semi-tailwind there, 46 knots there from 4 o'clock almost. Mac, Paul,
Yes.
I feel
I
so
don't
alive
know.
now.
No, Linda's talking. Come on, Linda. I don't know where you got all the ideas from to put into this website, but the more I think about it, this is wow. It's really wow. It's got freaking almost absolutely everything I can think of that it needs to have.
I think most of the ideas,
Yeah.
Yes.
but would you agree, Paul?
No, you didn't transmit your sentence, sir. You have to press your button.
It's all right. I'm in resting.
Okay.
I said, I think most of the ideas all came from Mako. We sort of refined them and helped them fine-tune them, but no, Mako tends to take most of the praise.
Okay. Well, it's
I would agree with that.
it's very thoroughly thought out. That you can see. You know, I mean, everything that I've been thinking about of having in one place is just there. It's really nice.
Quite like the pop-down, pop-up features.
Oh yeah.
So you can
Definitely.
be pretty much set on one part of a page, viewing your OFP, for example, and you can pop down things into that without dragging things around or
Yeah.
moving your mouse.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you know the only thing I think we haven't brought into it yet, Paul? I'm surprised that Nico hasn't mentioned it yet.
I might have. You're not here all the time, so I don't know what you're referring
True.
to.
Tell us.
The free web FMC.
Oh yeah, Web FMC. I was thinking about it earlier because I'm so used to using the Web FMC with STKP that when I did the winds just now, it dawned on me, you know what, I don't have that facility anymore.
Well, it would help if you were copying stuff from the OFP. Can I have a word with Mako? Maybe we can move the OFP to the left slightly, Paul, and whether he could have a link for the Web FMC on the right.
Oh yeah, that'll be really cool. Because I mean, there's enough room. Paul?
We did look into this, Mac, if you remember.
Did
there was
you?
a technical reason why it wouldn't work.
Well, it's just a web page that it reads, literally. So
Exactly, yeah.
yeah,
And literally, it is only a local IP address.
So if you move this OFP slightly to the left, you can easily fit it here on the right-hand side.
As I say, it's a possible progress to think about for the future, that was all.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it would be marvellous, but as I say, we did suggest it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it would be nice to understand why he said no, you know, but yeah. And we have land in front of us.
That was because I know that Nico uses the function. I use a separate page for it and put two screens side by side, so different thing.
I use WebFMC all the time, yes.
And it's free as well. As far as functionality with Zibo is concerned.
Yeah. I bought it to get the extra functionality, but there was no reason to buy it apart from just needing it in other aircraft. I mean, in the Zibo, it's perfectly working in the free version.
And you've even got the choice now of the two types of FMC as
Yes, yes. It updated 3 days ago. I got the latest version now as well.
1.72, you mean?
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, I can't sing the praises of these guys enough, and it is marvelous. I'm thoroughly impressed.
You haven't had the invoice yet.
Mac, I am so rich in this virtual world. There's no invoice big enough that can stop my speed.
What was it, Paul? We suggested free accommodation for a month and return airfare to South Africa, wasn't it?
No, we got haggled down to somewhere to park the bus if we drove there.
Oh.
Shame.
I'd come on that adventure with you, Paul.
I was thinking the other day, this is now completely off topic. When I was younger, it used to be fun to go to the bushveld, to go and to watch the animals. And I remember many times watching how the lions would catch something and rip it to pieces and all. The other day I was sitting here thinking, I really miss the bushveld. I want to go back there. And I watched a couple of videos, and it made me sad to watch those poor animals get ripped to shreds by these lions. And I thought to myself, wow, I changed a lot, and I didn't know. It used to be so exciting, but I would prefer not to see it live again. It's cool to see parts of it, but some of it is just nature. It can be cruel.
Rural living keeps you in touch with nature.
Yeah, we've grown soft here in the city,
Is Marc trying a Dutchman?
Oh, probably. There must be something to that.
I'm partial to a bit of Gouda.
He's as Scottish can be. He's a Mac. And he's not a Macatini, he's a real Mac.
And I'm not wearing one either.
Okay. What, the kilt or the underpants?
No, Macintosh.
Okay, listen, no, we don't want to get into trouble with YouTube, so we're going to keep it safe. I haven't had feedback from this morning's stream. I still don't know what the heck that stupid AI picked up.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, this stream is not blocked anyway. It's fully monetized. I don't know what happened this morning.
Oh, Nico, while you think about it, I don't think even this stream, the link to your hangar is the right one, is it?
I'm gonna update it. You know what? Every time I update it, it doesn't carry through. And you know what the problem is? It's not that the link is wrong. The link is correct, but that tiny URL, for some reason, is like it only works when it wants to work. If you look at my Skymatix info here in Discord as well, you'll see I've got both links there. It is the right link. No, okay, no, this one is not. But I've made an additional one from bit.ly, and that one seems to work unconditionally. But the tiny URL, I don't know. It's rubbish. For me. I don't know why, whether it's because I don't pay them and it's a free facility, or, I didn't read the terms and conditions. I might have missed it, that it only works a certain amount of times or something. Anyway, guys, I've updated it. So if you want to get the correct URL for my private hangars, just press Control and F5 and then go look underneath the stream in Show More, and you'll see there's an updated URL. It will work. Another thing I found is in Discord, if you click on it, it works. If you copy and paste that to somebody in a message, that link doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
I'll try it now.
There's a couple of instances where I found it just does not work. Can't get it to work. That's why I went to that other supplier to get another link from them.
That works that way.
When you are back and you can
I rarely
concentrate,
make
I want to ask you
mistakes.
guys another question.
I'm back.
Okay. I won't name names, but some of our users who are currently flying the IVEO World Tour have latched on to the tour in the new website. And there seems to be major confusion. And Erwin and I had a chat, and he said to me maybe it would be better if we just actually either rename it or remove it, because it's creating confusion. So I'm starting to think maybe we must actually just remove that tour. We can always make other tours, but it seems to be creating a problem. Well, for at least one guy, it's a major problem, because he started flying now in the middle, and he never logged the first couple. So
Yeah, unfortunately I haven't.
you haven't press a button. Back.
I'm clicking it.
Your headset disconnects.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said, unfortunately, I haven't seen Mako today to have a word with him.
Yeah, I sent the
If
messages.
if people could just bear with us for a couple of days. Unfortunately, the developer who has put this all together is going to be unavailable for nearly a month. So as far as the in-depth workings of the software are concerned, we've got limited support.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have that tour, but I think we need to disable it or something. Because at this moment, I mean, there's been one huge discussion already about this one person. So
Yeah. Did you resolve the other matter with that
no,
individual who was struggling?
we removed all the PyReps to take it onto par with the test site, and still, you see, the problem is we don't know which of the columns in the database are all affected. It could be 300 of them that's affected, and
Well,
one in 300 is broken. So
yeah. Unfortunately, it might have been he put his password in at the wrong moment or anything.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. So,
But we know he can log in. There's something that's got corrupted in it.
yeah, and it's related to his account and that one PyRep. I'm convinced of it. And just because we deleted it, it didn't undo it. So some or other integrity check of some sorts needs to be run on the database, so we can see if we can find that one stupid corruption. But it's like finding a needle in a haystack now.
That's what I was thinking. That was the other subject to have a word with Mako about. But we'll try and get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. But next time we do maintenance, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a redirect or something on the website so nobody can get to it. You know.
Yeah, the trouble is you can't functionally check it as we were
Yeah.
yesterday
If
unless
you
it's
don't have
online.
access. Yeah, that is the other problem. It's true. Oh, we're getting closer now. And
Yeah,
strange, yeah.
I have a couple of ideas as to how we could perhaps look at it, but I need to have a word with Mako.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I'll talk with you off screen about
Yeah,
it.
no problem. And as you started talking, I just wanted to mention, it's strange, I haven't seen Zibo today. I kind of expected based on what he himself said the other day that we're going to see a lot of him today.
Oh.
I haven't
Well,
seen
mind
him.
you, I think whether he's working because the Zibo update's been very quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, last time he posted on the org forum was on Thursday, Nico.
Hmm. I can't believe it's Sunday evening here already. Lucky Dimitri. Um, I would have liked to just have one more day in this weekend, I'm telling you. Well, I just checked my go-around altitude is 3,000. That's about the last thing I need to worry about right now. Then I just need to worry about landing safely. Mac, I have 300 and approximately 70 flights to load for North America. I wish that was done.
You're trying to do? Give John a fit?
No, I'm doing them.
Approaching
No, you
transition.
can do the Ryanair ones. I'll do the Southwest ones. So it's okay.
Okay.
But we're loading, man. I tell you, I did so many yesterday again. About 370 left. Right, let's
No,
load out.
I think, Paul, we need to make certain that about document is updated again.
The which one?
The about document.
Oh, yes.
Certain names missing, isn't it?
Sorry, Captain Cryptic. Let me just check.
I'll plug his praises and he should be on the list.
Don't make me look bad by not remembering who it is,
Flaps
tell me.
1 set.
That Skymatix Nico one that we added.
Oh, that fella. Yeah, I suppose.
Transition level.
Yeah.
Well,
He doesn't
put it
like
this
you.
way, without him, I don't
Flaps 5
suppose
set.
any of us would be here talking to each other now.
That is true.
That's
I
an
could have
amazing
walked
thought.
And I could have walked past you in the street and I wouldn't know you from Adam, Paul.
Sure.
Still wouldn't, would you? Thankfully. Or have you seen me? Did I ever fire up my camera?
You did.
Oh,
yeah.
my hat.
No, you weren't wearing your hat at the time.
No.
Oh, plus John's met me, of course, so he's probably told you my
I
description.
must admit, we haven't seen so much of you since your haircut.
Yeah, that was
Well,
the
that's
last
so long
time.
ago. Yeah, it doesn't apply anymore.
Okay. Hang on a second. I just realized
1000 to
I'm
level
seeing
off.
the wrong frequency. Needs to be 389. I never flicked it. Oops. There you go. There's the blue line.
And is this bloke a training captain, did you say, Paul? Or is he just a senior captain?
Well, he's having a day off, you know. Let the fella relax a bit. He has got one arm time behind his back as well.
How many hours do you think
Flaps
we
15
ought
set.
to suggest has to be flown before you get training captain?
Don't know about that one. It might be one of those cases where you've got to be properly qualified by one of the real world guys. Something like that, eh?
Yeah. And completed all the training courses, etc. Yeah, I do like those clouds, Nico.
Yeah. I'll try my best, Dimitri.
Do you remember, Nico, it used to be a running joke that whenever I was watching one of your streams, something would go wrong regularly?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what's happened? That's not a thing anymore.
No.
1000
Things
to
aren't
level
breaking
off.
as much as they used to.
Nope.
I remember one particularly where you said, all right, well, nothing's definitely going to go wrong with this landing. And when you got to within about 200 feet, you noticed that it was translucent and you actually flew right through the surface underground.
Oh yes, I remember.
It's amazing. I nearly wet myself laughing.
Yeah. Gee, I think that was Las Vegas where that happened. Oh, amazing. Right, so 1640 is our MDA. So I need to keep my eye on that.
1000 to level off.
3000 over there.
So you've got to be visual with the thing that's behind that cloud.
Yeah. It's a baby cloud, so I'm going to ignore it
Flap 30
and just
set.
continue.
Minimum.
Don't scratch your beard and do those things.
I'm just trying to blow the cloud closer to the runway.
Okay, you know what? I'm following the flight director there, and I shouldn't.
Is it one of those recycle director situations?
Well, I had to get rid of the false lure. I don't see this bloody runway, man.
Taxi lights on.
Where's this runway? Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back.
Approaching 3-6.
Brothers and sisters, this is not for the faint-hearted. Goodness gracious me. Yes, you can hardly see that flipping thing. I'm oscillating this thing now because I'm so scared to go too low, but I have to go low.
Looking good.
200, 150, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reverse unlock.
5,000 feet
Speed
remaining.
breakup.
Aye, that was really good. I enjoyed that.
Auto brake in use.
Very nice.
It was almost on those big bars.
Be interested to
60
see what
knots.
your pilot rep says your landing
Yeah.
rate was
Brilliant landing.
when you
Nice
finish
one,
it.
sir.
Yeah. Whew. Thank you, Owen. And I suppose we need to go and turn around to the other side now. Wow, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you, guys. Man, but it was stressful not seeing that runway. You know it's there. You can just not see it. It is weird, man. Weird. You just go in faith, and then all of a sudden, oh, there it is. How was your landing, Bapino?
100 remaining.
Wow, thank goodness I've got a proper turnaround place here.
On runway 18.
Oops. Practice, practice, practice.
stabilized.
Oh, Nico, you know what you did promise. I'll tell you when you go offline.
Okay. Shutdown procedure. Oh, you know what we didn't do?
Shutdown procedure.
We didn't do the after landing procedure. Oops. Let me quickly help with that. Taxi lights off. Alright. Beacons. That's all good. Come on, release. I hate it when these things get stuck on your mouse.
Flaps up. And set.
Right. Ground services. Chocks. GPU.
Shutdown procedure completed.
You know what? You know what? Forget that. Forget that. Ground services. Just take that off. Have a look see on the outside, and I want to see a replay. I think this is going to be fun. Good, 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 good.
That was.
Very nice.
Was the two puffs of landing there, was that left and right undercarriage, or was it a wee bounce?
No, it was just the undercarriage. I didn't detect the bounce.
No, I think it was probably left and right undercarriage.
We'll see.
But it was very nice, Nico.
My wife distracted me a bit, so I want to see it just again and then take some screenshots. Then we'll call it a day. I need to show the guys about ending the flight now and things like that. So guys, don't run away. We're going to do that just now. We need to obviously still log this flight into the VA, so it's going to be the end then. I see the ACARS detected a pause in the flight sim. It's not continuing to take samples while we're replaying. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, I must say this was sweet.
Visually, that could almost be real life, Nico.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you look quickly, you won't be able to see the difference. So anyway, while the replay is happening, let me show you guys this ACARS and how to end the flight and what happens. So there it's done. What we now do is we go back to the new flight, that second icon. You'll see there it says end flight. So we're going to press end flight. It obviously talks to the server and gets a bit of information going there. So I haven't really double checked this. I don't know how true and accurate this is, but at least it's got the correct flight. Some of it obviously comes straight from the planning. Those are all the things that happened. Right. There's your landing heading deviation and things like that. But where's the actual landing rate? There's the G-force. There's the landing rate 216. So it's got a lot of information in here. I'm just not sure, how accurate it is. For what it is, it's accurate, Papino, many thanks to you too. Thank you so much for being here and coming to say hello on Discord. So anyway, all this information now needs to get filed. So we click File the Flight. And there you go, PyRap has been filed. So if we go to the website now, and we go to our dashboard, we should see that we are now in GCLA. So that's the last position. And over here you'll see GCLA, so it's updated everything accordingly. That's brilliant.
If you go to your PyRaps,
Yeah.
and then select that last one, you should have a map of all the trip and everything.
Yeah, and all the financials are now calculated, and you can see your load information, transactions. There's the sim brief OFP. This is brilliant, man. This is really brilliant. Yeah, that's it. That's how easy it is, guys. I know it's long-winded and all, but we've accomplished what we set out to do, and at the end of the day, it's for your benefit. It's to make it easier for you guys to use the site and all those things, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. You are obviously welcome to use Discord to ask your questions and things. Leave it, we'll answer when we can, and we'll make it better together. this tour thing, we will get, you know, it all streamlined for you guys, and then if it's viable, we're going to keep it. Otherwise, we're just going to get rid of this specific tour, and then we'll just make a new one, you know, so that we don't confuse the people. Last thing we want to do is confuse people. But until we speak again, have a good rest of your Sunday and have fun during the week. We'll speak to each other soon enough again. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Nico.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Nico.